coming out here for the defense.
Yep, Junkrat very good on defense here because everybody kind of has to get into that little, pillar right there. So his splash damage does, of course, a lot.
Paywall right there from St. Louis.
Gonna go ahead and get underway here. Gonna try to go for the res. Getting frozen. She does get the res off though, but it looks like St. Louis is gonna get 3 down right off the bat. That fight's gonna go their way pretty handily. That May able to do a whole lot of freezing right there in that staircase. Diva also, of course, with her little rockets, a little bit of splash damage right there. Coming down on top of St. Louis.
Big shatter from Zazzy right there.
Absolutely. A shatter already. We're barely into this map. He's already got a
Well, they had 3 fire strikes through their entire team. You're going to build that Reinhardt ultimate really fast like that.
Absolutely. Very good play from St. Louis's Reinhardt right there. I think Eyeway, they really, when they round that corner going up those stairs, they have to commit. You know, they were kind of hanging out in that staircase. They're really confined. They need to go ahead and push through and, take the fight on their terms, not so much let St. Louis just kind of control what's going on and the placement of all the players.
Right, St. Louis has so much spam damage right there with between the Moira and the Ryan Fire Strike and the Junk that it would maybe behoove Eyeway to go a different direction. You know, like they're kind of circled left right here, and they're already on point. It's a good,
yep.
nice rotation right there.
Moira ult going to go ahead and come out, put down tons of healing, lots of damage. St. Louis is going to go ahead and lose their Reinhardt early in this fight. Not looking too good for them, but Junkrat's going to manage to pick up 2 to get it back on level playing ground. Ana hopping around here doing plenty of heals, managing to stay alive. St. Louis trying to make a comeback right here, but Ryan's going to get 1 on the side of Eyeway there. Reaper's also going to get 1. Junkrat trying to clean up. Very close fight right here. It looks like we got Junk and Ana left on the side of St. Louis there. They are going to fall, and it looks like Eyeway's going to go ahead and take this first point.
Yeah, Moira Reaper versus Ana Junkrat. I'm going to give that to Moira Reaper 90% of the time.
Absolutely, Moira with her fade, really able to stay alive. And Reaper, with his healing, he's got quite a bit of sustain as well.
Daybreak really opened up that fight really well with that May wall, cutting off St. Louis's team while they were trying to rotate in.
Yeah, a big commitment here from St. Louis going back to try to hold this point. They do get one with the Diva Bomb. Mercy, nonetheless. Looks like Ana's going to go ahead and pick up the Reinhardt on the side of Eyeway. So this fight actually is turning around. A big shatter comes out for St. Louis there. Reaper ult gets only 1, but St. Louis definitely turns that around, and they managed to hold this point with just a little bit of percentage left.
I probably would have called that foolish, but that worked out really well. They had a big commitment there with the May ult and everything, but
yeah, and with Ryan and Diva getting back at pretty much the same time, Diva could walk in, lay her bomb down, and kind of force Eyeway to either fall back or all get behind the Ryan shield or something along those lines.
Right, they forced
Reinhardt
Reaper to use that fade cooldown, which really left him with no escape after that.
Yeah, St. Louis is going to go ahead and take this left side high ground, but Eyeway is going to say, that's okay, we'll just head around the right. May, though, going to pick off the Mercy early in that fight, make it a quick 6-on-5 for the side of St. Louis. May is going to go ahead and clean up 2, though, but it looks like Diva's going to go ahead and respond. St. Louis looking pretty good. If that Diva Bomb can get something, that'd be great for Eyeway. Unfortunately, it does not get any. We got a little Diva v Diva action right here. Looks like Junkrat's going to go ahead and clean up that Diva mech, and they're going to go ahead and polish it off right there. 30 seconds left on the clock. 1 more push for Eyeway.
What does Eyeway need to do here?
Well, they need to group up. The last 2 fights in a row, they've gotten a player picked off very early on. So if they could just get a 6-on-6, they basically won the 6-on-6 versus St. Louis 2 fights ago, but then St. Louis managed to get back. They couldn't kill them quite fast enough. St. Louis managed to get a couple players back on the point and save it with about 10% left on the clock there, or on the ticker rather.
St. Louis going to have to rush. They only have 1 second to touch.
And it looks like they're not going to be able to get there. However, okay, Eyeway, man, they're right there on the end. They have to hold this first point, but they have plenty of room within this first point to give up. They don't lose, of course, unless St. Louis manages to take 92%, it looked like right there. So, not getting that first cap really sucks, but that's about as good as you can hope for without getting the first cap.
This little Hammond ball has me so confounded.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that away. I'm sorry.
I think this time around, Eyeway, I was saying they got those early, or got picked off early on. So, on the defensive side, I think you have a little bit more of an advantage to not really let that happen quite as bad, because you can take that high ground. Of course, any FPS game ever, you always want the high ground and a little bit of advantage your way. I think that'll help them to get the 6-on-6 clean engages, so to speak.
They get to choose where they defend from. So they can take the high ground or hide around a wall. They can basically back up and decide when they're going to take those fights.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think they'll look a lot better on defense here. Like I said, they can't let St. Louis get that first tick, but they can let them get 92%. So if you have to peel off for just a second, if you get someone picked off early on in a fight, you can do that. Not for very long, but every little bit counts.
Now, they've made a swap over to the Zarya here, and I feel like that's a little bit of a questionable pick unless you're just really strong with Zarya. She's not really in the meta right now. She's not super strong in it, and she's not going to have that speed to get back if she does get picked early.
She doesn't, but if you have a decent Zarya player who can build that charge, she does do tons and tons of damage. And like if St. Louis tries to come up the stairs or something like that, she can shoot her beam straight down there and just do tons and tons of damage. You know, they don't really have anywhere to go, anywhere to hide. So she can really, really rack it up right there.
Reaper with a little flank right here, going to do some poke damage and try to build some early ult.
Yeah, it looks like St. Louis was planning on going around the left side right there. They take the teleport straight to point. Going to catch Eyeway a little bit off guard here. Zarya's going to get in the mix. They'll go ahead and start laying down some damage. It looks like St. Louis is going to go ahead and pick up 2. Reinhardt really showing up for St. Louis tonight. Moira's going to pick up 2, and Reinhardt's going to pick up a 3rd. Mercy managed to get the res off, but Ryan just takes him right back down. That was a very one-sided St. Louis victory right there.
There's not really a whole lot else you can do whenever somebody catches you so blindsided like that. You know, it's just you rotate down. There was a good rotation. They were just already there, and they trickled in.
Yeah, what happens in a situation like that, like you said, they catch you off guard, and you don't even have a chance to regain your balance. You know, had they been able to take that first tick, well, then at least they could defend on B, but not taking that first tick really puts you in a bind.
Well, look at the play of the game from Zazzy here. This is going to be where he kills the Ryan twice, I believe. Just swinging the hammer. Tries to interrupt the
He
res.
does. He manages. Well, he doesn't quite interrupt it, but he manages to get the kill and then actually clean up the res later on. So that's
It's
really
just padding his stats.
Yeah, effectively, it's like a 5-piece right there. Very good map 1 from St. Louis right there. Eyeway definitely needs to kind of regroup. You know, just talk amongst themselves. They need those 6-on-6 fights. You know, in their attack, they lost people early on. In their defend, I feel like there's not much to analyze in their defend because, you know, they were just kind of taken off guard. Right. They were kind of taken off guard right there. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things you can't really recover from. You get one shot. If they catch you on your back foot, you're done. So.
Right. And in hindsight, since they weren't going to get a second battle, it's probably the Zarya switch probably was good.
Right.
In hindsight.
Yep. They were just going for sustain at that point.
But I liked what I saw from Eyeway on their attack. Just like you said, don't get picked early. Group up if you do. Don't take those 5v6s. You're the attacker. You get to choose when you attack. So if you get an early pick, just back up, regroup, and go in.
Mistakes like that very fixable rolling into a map too. You know, if you realize that you took those 5-on-6s, you know, hey, look, guys, no big deal. If we get somebody picked, we're going to peel back. We're just going to calm down. We're going to all group up, and then we're going to go back and try again instead of just throwing ourselves in there and feeding the ult charge. Because, you know, it starts Overwatch starts to snowball when things like that happen. You know, when you take 2 5-on-6s in a row, well, now all of a sudden you're at a significant ult disadvantage. And so they're really going to take 3 fights off of you, almost guaranteed.
Right, unless you can force out some early ults, maybe just put a little pressure on, do what you call an eco push, which is where you just push for economy of ult.
Right, yeah.
But some good Mei walls in there, some good rotations. I like what I'm seeing. It looks much cleaner than last week.
We are loading into Route 66 here for map 2, payload map. I like payload maps. I feel like they're a little bit more fun. Assault, you know, it's kind of brawly.
It's generally despised by the entire community.
It's brawly, you know, people like to watch it.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, but Route 66, great map, payload map, or escort map, rather. So, you know, you don't get in that situation where you didn't even get the first tick. You know, you're going to win, you're going to lose. Something's going to happen.
Right. The payload's always going to go somewhere.
It's going to go somewhere, right.
Generally, it's always going to go somewhere.
Well, hey, yeah. So on this map, a lot of times what we'll see is right here, this first corner that we're kind of turning around right here. The defensive team will set up right there. So you get kind of free progress coming out the gate right here if you're on attack. But the place where you have to engage, the place where you have to push through becomes kind of favor for the defense because they have that little bit of
basically
a wall
a
that
canyon.
hang out around. Right. So loading in comps, it looks like the comps are going to be pretty much what we've seen last game. Like we said, a lot of Ryan Diva. We're going to see that quite a bit. Mei Reaper, I really like the Mei Reaper combo. It's extremely, it's a lot of sustain. It's very in your face. It's a fun combo to play and to watch.
It's the 2-2-2 goats.
That's it. It's goats if you had to pick DPS, right? We're going to see Junkrat coming out again.
It's
Also,
a really forward hold from St. Louis right here.
You know, and I'm sure that comes from the confidence after that first game. You know, they think, hey, we got this, it's going to be easy. But, you know, if they don't pull back, that might really come back to bite them.
Right, Reaper doing a little flank right here. See if he can get a cheeky little kill. He's just going to be forced to fade back, and he's going to rejoin his team. Oh, he gets walled off by the May.
Looks like he does get picked off by Reinhardt. I mean, sorry, by Junkrat, rather, right there. So that's going to cost Eyeway some time. Again, it's that 5-on-6 scenario. You know, they really need to pull back right now. They need to reassess. They need to regroup and try again instead of just feeding these kills to St. Louis and letting them get the ult charge off of them.
Right. William goes ahead and picks up 3 right there.
Yep.
And St. Louis is going to push him all the way back to spawn.
Absolutely. But you see, they did make a little bit of progress on the payload. This is like we were saying right at the beginning. They have to get around that corner. This is the hard spot to get around. But now the payload is up there, they have almost a little bit of cover they can work around. You know, when you get
right,
up there,
they
when
can
you
take
start
that
fighting,
train up the top and drop down on their heads.
Right, yeah.
Little Maywall there, just giving a little shielding.
A big shatter comes out from Eyeway right there. They're going to go ahead and clean up Reinhardt. That's really good news for Eyeway. Losing that main tank early is devastating. Looks like Junkrat is going to respond with a Moira kill. I still think this can go Eyeway's way, though, if they'll just focus some targets here. You know, not having that shield is so devastating. Looks like Eyeway is going to get a second one. St. Louis is going to go ahead and pull back here. They are going to pick up 2 at the end of that fight. They're going to go ahead and commit the Diva Bomb right here. Doesn't manage to pick up any. Good May wall right there. Probably blocked a little bit of that. We still got Zarya. We still got May in here pushing this payload. They're going to go ahead and demech Diva on the side of St. Louis there.
But so is the Ryan. The Ryan gets a big shatter in the back line. Looks like he gets 3, and he cleans up the May and the Moira.
Yeah, looks like Zarya is just going for ult charge here. She's going to get out. See, they did manage to get around that corner, though, so good progress from Eyeway. This is how escort maps go a lot of times. You know, you throw yourself in there, you get a little progress, you get wiped, you got to regroup, throw yourself again.
And Eyeway's going to have ult advantage here. They're going to have 4 coming online.
Right, yeah. And still 2 minutes on the clock, not bad at all. Plenty of time here to go ahead and take this first point.
May ult comes out. Yep. Reinhardt tries to charge out.
Both May ults are actually out in the field, so there's a whole lot of freezing going down right now. Looks like Junkrat's going to open up the fight on the side of St. Louis here, but Reaper's going to commit his ult, go ahead and get the Diva. Junkrat, however, getting all kinds of tires. He gets another kill on the Lucio. Reinhardt responds. Looks like Eyeway is going to actually push this a little bit. They can clean up this Reinhardt right here.
Now, are we going to see the grab come out right here to close up this fight? Or are they just going to try to squeak it out?
I think they're going to be able to squeak it out if they can just focus this Reinhardt down. The Reinhardt on the side of St. Louis, I think, is kind of the biggest problem for Eyeway right now.
There it goes.
It looks like they went ahead and blocked that shadow with that May wall, though.
I love seeing that. There's such a fast May wall, such good reaction time.
Yeah, really good job from Eyeway right here, cleaning up that fight. They did have to commit the grab right there at the end of the fight, but no big deal. They're getting the progress. If they can focus down targets, this fight will be very much in their favor. St. Louis might try to stall right here, but it looks like actually they're not.
I think that would be foolish.
Yep, they're going to go ahead and they're going to give it to him. You can see Junk and May right there running up top. Going to go ahead and circle back around for the hold through B right here.
Really good push from Eyeway right there. Pretty good use of ult economy, some really good May walls, some good blocks, and really good bubble on the Reaper during his ult to keep him alive while he was about to get nanoed.
Yeah, and the ults on the side of Eyeway don't look too bad. You know, of course, you have your Zarya only at 18% because they did have to commit at the end of that fight right there. But generally, they're looking pretty good. They can make some progress here if they focus targets and really take these fights.
Sound barrier comes out, a huge shatter. Reinhardt's going to clean up.
Maywall comes out on the side of St. Louis right there to go ahead and defend their Reinhardt. They want to keep him up. They know that that's kind of the weak spot of Eyeway is dealing with that Reinhardt. So they do protect him. They manage to keep him alive. And Junkrat, with yet another tire, manages to get 2 with the tire.
Cleans up 2 after
more.
that.
Nice little 4-piece from Junkrat.
Is that a little melee kill on the Zarya?
I didn't quite see. It might have been. St. Louis going to get set back up here. Eyeway going to go ahead and reset, going to kind of regroup. They are managing, you know, doing a lot better job of grouping up, getting their 6 on 6 fights. Shatter comes out, gets blocked though. No big deal. Little Reinhardt charge on both sides, knockdown.
Extra shot antied and closed off from his team with that May wall. Now both Moira ults are coming out.
Yeah, it looks like Reaper's going to go ahead and put in work. He gets 2, but Zay manages to take him out right there at the end. See if the rest of Eyeway can respond. Zay, man, once this Reinhardt gets all up in your business like that, it is tough to get him out. He has a ton of hit points. He does quite a bit of damage with that hammer, and of course he has a shield that's just keep him alive for days. Zarya putting in a lot of damage. He has plenty of charge here. like I said, if Eyeway can just focus some targets, this could go their way. They need to make sure they're all shooting the same guy. They get nice. They get Ryan frozen right there, and the Reaper ults him down for some more progress on the side of Eyeway here.
Neon just going to back out right here, which is a smart move whenever you're the only person left in a 5v1.
Yep, you don't want to give the ult charge. You know, any damage they do gets them closer to having ults, and you know, Overwatch is a game of ults. You got to be ahead in your ult economy if you want to win. You got to have more ults than them.
A lot of times as a Moira player, you're really tempted to stay there. You have so much sustain and just kind of throw a few damage orbs out there. But if you're not going to close out any kills, it's really you're just feeding ult charge to the other team's supports because all that damage is just going to get healed up.
Absolutely, May right there really seemed like she knew what she was doing. She went around the back to block him off. Looks like they were maybe trying to plan a combo with the Diva Bomb right there to not let him get away. They do manage to get 2.
That's all you need sometimes.
Sometimes that's all you need. Zarya looks like she's going to fall. The Diva right here, only 28 HP left. So that fight is going to go very much the way of St. Louis. That was you could tell from the beginning of that fight, that was very coordinated. The May came out seemingly, you know, at first almost seemed like she was lost, didn't know what she was doing, goes around the team, walls him up, Diva Bomb comes down, gets 2. Now you're on a 4v6. That's going to go your way.
So St. Louis just won that battle, and they have drastic ult advantage here with 4 online. The only thing they're missing are their 2 tank.
Yeah, Eyeway really needs a big shatter right here. They want to clean this up. They do have the grab as well. Looks like grab's going to come out. Sound Barrier's going to come out at the same time. Unfortunately, Reinhardt on the side of Eyeway is going to fall with his Earth Scatter in the bank. Doesn't get to use it. May, the same thing. Hers coming up right at the end there, but she is going to fall. Looks like that's going to be pretty much it for Eyeway right here. This Zarya, unless she can stay alive for a really long time, that overtime is going to tick away, and that's going to be the point.
And a junk tower just going to zone them out, even if they could make it.
Absolutely. So Eyeway right there, not a bad push. They didn't quite get to the B right there.
I've been stalled out so much earlier than that.
Oh, so much. Yes, absolutely. Those fights can go way worse. That's a totally respectable push on the side of Eyeway right there. St. Louis does manage to hold off the full cap, though. So St. Louis has guaranteed that this round is going to end the game. You know, whether they win or lose, we have yet to see. But it's definitely not going to go to a 3rd round because they did manage to hold Eyeway out from being able to get the full cap.
Are we going to see Zarya or Diva on the Eyeway side for defense?
Well, last map they ran Zarya on defense,
right?
But this map they ran it on attack. So it kind of depends. Are they on a Zarya? I'm gonna say we're gonna see Zarya because either they're on a roll with Zarya here, or they want to use her on defense, and their defense is coming up. So either way, we're gonna see Zarya.
All right,
guaranteed, 100%.
100%. You are correct. 100%. Look at that. Look at you being right.
Look at that. 1 for 1.
We're seeing a little Brig come out. We haven't seen Brig tonight.
Absolutely. I have heard on the internet that Brig Lucio is apparently a thing.
It is a thing.
It's Brig Moira here.
It's an awful thing that you should never see, and luckily we're not.
We're seeing Brig Moira coming out. A lot more HP, not quite as much mobility. Obviously, you know, Brig has her stun. She's good for that. But as far as team mobility, you're kind of limited. You know, I think that's going to kind of affect Zay a little bit. You know, I think if they would run a Reinhardt with him, he could really get in their face and do a lot of damage. But, you know, they seem to be doing fine. So, you know, don't change what's not broken or whatever you say.
I really like this McCree pick coming out instead of the Reaper. He's going to have a lot more range. He's going to be able to poke from the side. And especially since apparently Soleil is going to be playing Pharah.
Yep, they're going to have that hit scan to try to deal with that Pharah. Also, they're going to have the flashbang from McCree right there. So when, just like that, it looks like Ryan on the side of St. Louis got stunned right there.
Right over the top of the shield, and
yeah, they can kind of keep him in check that way.
Really good Maywall right there. Doesn't let Zay retreat, and Eyeway is just kind of looking dominant on this.
Definitely looking like they're hitting their stride here at this fight. That May-Ryan synergy right there looking a lot better than the last round.
Looks like the Moira took out the Pharah right there after she was whittled down by the McCree. It's good teamwork right there.
And worth noting, Eyeway has the Lucio, so they can outmaneuver the other team. You know, if they're coordinated and they can use that speed boost, they can get around on the flanks, get around that shield, and they can outmaneuver St. Louis.
Maywall almost splits the team right there, but wasn't quite close enough. Expert shot gets really low right there. Big Shatter gets 3, and he's just going to swing away. Picks up several.
Absolutely huge plays from Expert Shot right there. He managed to stay awake, or stay alive rather, with like 28 HP. Then he gets a Shatter off. Bold move dropping the shield to go for Shatter with 28 HP, but it does pay off. And
well,
that,
he knew his healer was right behind him. He had that orb coming up.
Yeah.
He was ticking up.
very much on the side of Eyeway right there. It looks like Junkrat did manage to sneak around and get Moira, though. So this is going to be a 5-on-6 in favor of St. Louis. St. Louis knows this. They're going to go ahead and go in. They don't want to let that Moira get back in the fight. They want to take it while it's still lopsided. Like
Junkrat taking a little flank and an ult from behind. They're not even going to know where that's coming from.
Absolutely not. However,
that was a really fast shield by Expert Shot. That was excellent play right there. Excellent reaction time.
Yeah, very good play from
His
Expert
mouse
Shot.
sensitivity must be on 1 billion.
Absolutely. Looks like Zarya does manage to pick out Reinhardt, so it's a relatively fair fight right now. Lucio is going to D-mech.
Moira is now back, so on a healing orb out there.
She
picks up the kill on the Baby Diva.
Yep, she commits her ult right here, and it looks like that's enough to push St. Louis back. St. Louis kind of looking like they might be struggling right now.
I might be pulling a Brent Hook and changing my
prediction. Your prediction?
I'm a flip-flop.
A little crazy. You see Maywall come out from behind. Doesn't get much though. Reinhardt, you know, he realizes that the Maywall's there. He just decides to sneak around the side. Not too much to deal with though.
Expert Shot with another big ultimate right there. We didn't get to see what it got.
Yeah, it looks like though Junkrat did manage to pick up one, and Eyeway's Reinhardt is going to fall there. So this is looking very much in favor of St. Louis. Eyeway falling one by one. They need to just get out of there.
Moira trying to fall back, gets frozen. Her fade wasn't up.
But you can see at the end of that fight, Eyeway, they kind of realized they had lost it. They were trying to pull back. You know, you can't always get away, especially, you know, when the enemy team is running a May or something like that. But they, you know, they know that was going St. Louis's way, so they're going to go ahead and back up. They're going to regroup, and they're going to try to get the hold probably at this A point right here.
And they still have high ground, right? They were holding so far forward that was basically not even a lost fight. They're just right where they should have been attacking the whole time.
Absolutely. It looks like Mayo is going to come out on the side of Eyeway here, and High Noon as well does get two. Zay manages to get one, but this fight is going all Eyeway right here. Going to go ahead and clean up the May. Yeah, very good job on the side. Yeah, very good job from McCree, and a very good job from Reinhardt right there, cleaning up all those kills. You know,
St. Louis's May player actually blocked in his own team with that May wall. I know he was going for a little block, but then the May ult came down, and there was nowhere for the rest of his team to run.
Yeah, and you'll notice Eyeway won that fight without using either support ults. So coming in here with 11 seconds left on the clock, they have both support ults. They have grab. They're pretty close to shatter as well, unless absolutely incredible block from Expert Shot right there. Diva Bomb does get two, though, unfortunately for Eyeway. They're going to have to really turn this fight around. They want to hold A right here. It's in overtime. Zay's going to go ahead and clean up two. It looks like St. Louis.
There's going to be a lot of sustain on the side of St. Louis.
Absolutely. St. Louis knows what they're doing right there. They went in that fight with a plan, and they executed it.
I'm so impressed with Expert Shots. It should be Expert Block, should be what his name is.
Expert Blocks, that would be it right there. Is Eyeway going to try to contest here? They're just going to pull back. It looks like they're going to make the smart decision, I would say, and pull back here. You don't want to go in and feed that extra ult charge like we've been saying over and over again. You still got plenty of room on the map here. You can still get this win pretty easy. You know, every fight can go your way. Every now and then you can.
Zay falls to Zarya.
Looks like this is going Eyeway's way. If they can go ahead and pick up another kill, St. Louis does not have that shield. They're going to go ahead and invest the Moira ult here. They see the freeze come out. They want to keep those teammates alive. Looks like 4 frozen on the side of Eyeway. Junkrat does manage to get 1, so no Reinhardts on either side. Britt going to get in the end on some of the action. Going to kill on May right there. Looked like McCree's ult came out, but didn't manage to get anything with it.
It's a big shatter right there from Zay coming in. He's going to clean up the rest of this fight. St. Louis, 1 fight away from victory.
That's it. Zay looking like a very dominant player. Expert Shot, though, he's looking pretty good as well. I would say both Reinhardts in this matchup have been looking extremely talented.
Yeah, definitely the players to watch in each fight.
Yeah, we're going to see a May ult and the Junkrat ult coming out at the same time here. St. Louis is going to try to get this early on their terms. It looks like they do manage to get 2. Reinhardt again, nonetheless. Really sucks to be Reinhardt when that tire comes out because you're so slow. There's not much you can do about it.
He's had a really good success rate on blocking those. It's a shame.
Yeah.
This is the one, if you could have traded any of the other ones, this is the one that you would have traded it for.
That's it. Moira's going to hang around. She does have that healing orb to try to keep her up.
It bounces out of the way and just leaves her hanging.
Eyeway almost manages to get there on Hammond.
Really,
St.
really
Louis,
good showing
though,
from Eyeway, though. I'm really impressed with that.
St. Louis does get the best of it, though. So that's going to be 2-0 St. Louis's way right there. We're going to have to play the game on Junkrat right here. Definitely put in some work. Junkrat and Ryan on the side of Eyeway. I mean, sorry, on the side of St. Louis, rather. Really playing.
How many tires did Junkrat get? 30?
I think 150.
150?
Yeah.
An average of 2 kills each. That's a lot of kills.
Yep, that's 300 kills that game for Junkrat. Double check the stats. That's 100% accurate, no question. But both Reinhardts, you know, they were close second with 120 kills.
I feel like there were a lot of double shatters in
between
there.
the 2 of them.
Both of them getting shattered in the same fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots and lots.
Yep. And you know, when you're playing that main tank role, you have to commit. You have to kind of be the leader on the team. So I think both these Reinhardts are kind of showing that trait, really getting in on the action and stirring things up. Yeah.
That was a weird music prompt.
Yep.
A little 2 in the old ear.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and get switched out. We're gonna go.
So what's going up next?
Up next, we're not quite sure what's going up next. I think.
Is it? We're gonna try and get a middle school game up.
We are gonna try.
All right.
Zach is over there. I think he's looking for a player interview.
Is he looking for a player interview?
I was thinking he is, but we don't know.
Maybe he should put his infrasight on.
Maybe. We will see.
Use your ult, Zach.
Use it. Yeah, what we can just take a quick break. We can take like 2 minutes, and we can come back. If he's going to do a player interview, he can do the player interview. If not, we're going to jump into a middle school game as quick as possible. Cool.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I will simulate our upcoming mission to identify all possible outcomes.
So it looks like we're looking at FK versus Oak Park.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Allow me to repair the damage.
I shall see the payload safely to its destination.
This will be a shield. This will heal. Help me.
All right, guys. So I'm over here with William on that Junkrat for St. Louis. How do you think that game went?
It went pretty awesome. We had some great pop-offs. We had some great healing. Jay had some amazing shot calls. All in all, just all around good.
Yeah, nice. Are there any teams that you're looking at that maybe, you know, Junkrat's not going to work, or you're going to bring something, you know, a little niche pick out?
I mean, for now, not necessarily. I mean, I could always adapt, but maybe Sam Houston in the future because they're big dogs.
Yeah, we're going to see them play Barb here later on in the day. So,
okay.
you know, kind of watch that match to see how it goes and see what you want to do with that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, William.
Thanks for having me up
Yeah,
here.
no problem, man.
Yes,
Keep
sir.
playing that Junkrat, and it's going to go well for you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Let's go ahead and jump back to that game that we switched to real fast and see who wins.
And inbound. Preparing to engage.
All right, guys. So St. Louis won that last game. We're jumping into a game here. We have Oak Park versus FK White, a middle school series. That's a Junkrat all coming out now. Earthshatter goes down and gets one. He picks up a second one. His whole hog ripping through the team as well. Picks up the Orissa's Widowmaker, takes the May, and answered back with one on the Reinhardt.
Making really good plays there. That Roadhog ultimate definitely helped them push their way through that situation, getting past that engagement.
Right, and you know, that tunnel right there is pretty hard to push through right after the first tick there, but they're going to have a couple on the payload as, you know, Junkrat and all is moving up and trying to just harass them off so they can get that payload pushed a lot more.
Definitely putting himself in a position to agitate the enemy team so that way they can get a little bit extra distance before he has to go back and meet his teammates.
Right, definitely. I'm really interested about this Hanzo pick. Not one you usually see on Oasis, but hey, if he's going to make it work and stop this payload, you go for it, man. He does have the Dragon Strike available.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Hanzo either. I mean, like you said, he has the Dragon, but he doesn't exactly get it super fast. But maybe this Hanzo just has really good aim.
Yeah, the Blizzard goes down here. They're pushing through as Coalescence comes out to answer that Blizzard. Doesn't do too much as 3 go down. They are holding off now. It's a 5v3.
Orisa being so beefy, it's just hard to take her down.
Definitely. There's that Dragon Strike coming out. It clears the point off, but you know, 2 get back on it, keep pushing up. They want to get that second tick here and at least secure that. See if they're going to be able to do it. We got the Baptiste and the Hanzo here as Reinhardt jumps down, try to secure it. Sound barrier goes out on the red side.
Roadhog is just extremely aggressive right now.
Hey, they're going to be able to do it. Clear that May off, and they're going to be able to get this tick. Looking at 1.25 meters, and they're going to get it. Get on the payload. It is contested, I believe. There we are. All right, so what do we do here? Maybe I'm not really feeling the Baptiste, as we do have the Hanzo traded in for the Genji here. Blue team's trying to do something, anything to stop this payload from progressing.
Yeah, blue team's Junkrat is definitely going to have to use its grenades to cut off lanes for red team. And the Genji pick's not a bad idea because inside this area, there's a lot of places Genji can get up to try to get around the enemy team just to agitate them, distract them.
Right, really get that good flank in, but there we see Genji's on the ground floor, gets stuck in the Junkrat trap, and he gets taken out by the Widowmaker.
Looks like he immediately switched back to Hanzo as well. I guess he didn't like the pick.
Reinhardt's going in as tank v tank over here on the front lines. I think he's going to back off. And we see here the Junkrat coming out. We got 2 on the payload that's just pushing it in. We have to turn around and do something about this as Reinhardt does arrive. Coalescence comes out. Just maybe trying to zone here as it actually picks up the Hanzo, which we're back on now from the Genji. Earthshatter goes down. I think it just hits 1 there. We have a whole hog that's ready, but this payload is getting pushed.
It looks like they're about to make it. That was a really sneaky payload push by red team.
Wow.
It looks like blue team was just completely distracted, and then they were like, oh, they're almost there.
Right, we see that Reinhardt kind of charging onto the Orisa using his bait, and we had to do DPS on the back, just pushing it through. 2 minutes, 3 ticks, as red team now tries to prevent blue team from doing the same thing. Not sure which FK White and Oak Park which is which here, but let's see how they do it. Now this is Oasis. Do we know who won Horizon Lunar Colony?
I do not,
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's too hard to tell now, as that was a pretty good fight there. So doesn't look like this is going to be a sweep. So let's see what heroes we have coming out. I want to see if we really stick true to this Hanzo and Genji pick, or if we go something more Reaper-esque.
Yeah, I feel like Reaper definitely would help push the payload a lot, just the amount of damage that he can put out and his ability to just get good positioning.
There we have it. The Reaper does come out over there for bans.
Making the call-outs here, I see.
I like that Super Rat is on the Junkrat. Sticking true to the name there. We are mirroring DPS, which is going to be a little interesting here. I definitely think that Junkrat is going to be better offensively, as you're just going to push them, these choke points in Road 66, you're just going to push them back and back and back, or you're charging up your Riptire.
Yes, the issue is with dealing with Junkrat is that he controls space so well with his grenades, it forces you to move somewhere, or you take the damage. And he puts out a lot of damage very quickly.
Robot Ninja trying to be cheeky, knowing they're going to come through that side door. You can kind of see through the spawns. What are we doing here? Reinhardt being a cheeky flank is going to zoom in and get the Zenyatta, just pins him against the wall.
Immediately taking out the healer, making a sort of DPS flank play.
Yeah, and then Reinhardt v. Reinhardt, he takes him out, but then he's answered back by 2 of his own team that go down. He's still in this backline causing mayhem.
He's just swinging right now, taking him out left and right. It just seemed like nobody wanted to turn around and see this Reinhardt, but finally goes down after making a very, very aggressive play there.
Knew he had to throw up that barrier there, but Fire Strike comes out, and Reinhardt gets his revenge on Reinhardt. Bans does take him out. They're finally able to get past this first corner here. We want to see if they're able to do it, because this could be a really tough one to hold. Especially with the Lucio on the defending team, he's just going to boop you off the side there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, Junkrat going very low. Robot Ninja does get out of there, gets some healing as well. GG drop immediately taken out. He did not see the Super Rat put that landmine down and just pops it right underneath him. Blue team doing a good job here. So we see some big ults, especially I'm looking for the Earth Shatter over here on the side of Juggernaut on this Reinhardt.
Yeah, you have Juggernaut looking like he's about to be really sneaky. I'm not sure if he knows where the payload is.
Right. Well, Robot Ninja does get that sneaky Riptire off, picks up 2, so they're going to be able to stall for just a little bit longer. We do have a contention on the point as Red Team picks up 3, and they're going to hold them back. Earthshatter is still available. We've got a good shield he's working on. He's going to look to soak up some more damage before letting that one rip.
Yeah, he's definitely holding it right now, just waiting for an opportunity to really make the most use out of that Earth Shatter. Right now, they're just keeping the blue team separated. It seems like they're pushing like a couple at a time instead of regrouping. Yeah, and it's really working out for Red Team.
Yeah, the Coalescence comes out maybe just to take down that front line and make sure that they don't come back too strong. As we're also looking at the Death Blossom coming online for, let's see, is that a juicy drop there on that Reaper? Let's see, as Blue has to reconnect here, regroup.
Yeah, he's jumping right
jumps
into the
in.
Death
Death Blossom gets 3. Is he gonna make it out? He goes into raid form, almost makes it out, picks up 1, but the Zenyatta answers back with a kill of his own. But 5 go down on the blue team. That's not what they wanted. Not at all.
Not at all.
Riptire comes out trying to get something back here. See if he can find anything. He's gonna turn the corner and there's nothing there.
Very unfortunate there. A very wasted Riptire, not knowing where the team is to be able to make the most use out of it.
You have no scouting done. Supercharger Bongo is available here along with the Earth Shatter, but what we're really looking for is I want that answering Death Blossom for bans.
Yeah.
Jump down, clear it off. Now these are these dueling DPSs I was talking about. He gets in there and picks up 3. And blue team is just getting pushed literally back into their spawn. There's nothing they can do. We need to figure something out as the revive comes in for the Orisa.
Blue team still does have a Death Blossom available. He just needs to be able to get good positioning on the enemy team.
I think he thought that was it, but it doesn't look like it. Coalescence is going to snipe him out as Junkrat, again, Robot Ninja takes out 2.
Poor Reaper there, definitely getting a little aggressive. Kind of counted his chickens before they hatched when he ran in and only saw 2. He didn't want to pop that Death Blossom just yet, but unfortunately died for it.
Right, so now we finally know Oak Park is sitting there on the red team. Picks up the win here, 3-0 on Route 66. I think it's that. This is the 3 kill, and then he picks up 2, maybe. Ooh, I like that. Yep. Wait, my question is, this is the Reaper that just picked up 3, and then 1 with the Death Blossom, but we're looking at Robot Ninja there on the Junkrat.
Oak Park definitely seemed very sneaky when they were pushing the payload. Whenever we walked up, we saw like a really intense engagement, and then once they pushed through that first choke point, it just looked like smooth sailing the rest of the way. And then whenever they defended, it was a little back and forth in the beginning, a little shaky for blue team, but towards the end, they just kept pushing them back in spawn. They couldn't even seem to make a strong play to get anywhere.
nothing, and especially starting out with that Reinhardt, behind the enemy lines there, just flanking, immediately gets the Zenyatta, so there's no healing, no Orb of Discord coming out, and just starts swinging away.
Yeah, and nobody even, it seemed like no one made a call out that Ryan was there, because he just kept dropping him like flies and continued on swinging until he actually got killed himself by the other Ryan.
Right, we saw that Junkrat sitting up there. They knew they were coming through that side door, so Reinhardt just positions in front of the main one. No one knows he's there, and he's able to just wreak havoc. And without Blue Team getting that first good initial push, which we now know, it's FK White.
And super unfortunate for Blue Team. It just seemed like they really couldn't get any great uses out of their ultimates. It seemed like every time they went to throw out an ultimate, it either would maybe pick out one person, or it just wouldn't have as much use. Like we saw the
Riptire.
Yeah, the Riptire that killed nobody. Unfortunate for them. And then right back, you see Red Team's Riptire take out 3 people in one Riptire, and that allowed them to continue to push them further and further and further back. They just kept getting good usage out of their abilities and just controlling space really well. And they had some really unorthodox flanks from different characters,
Definitely,
like the Rhine and other situations as well.
If you're willing to, big risk can lead to big reward.
Definitely.
And Oak Park was just able to pull that off, and I commend them for it. I believe that means that was an Oak Park 2-0, took Horizon Lunar Colony and their Route 66. We don't get to see Oasis, which would have been our control map for them. But it looks like we're going to be jumping into another game here. I don't know exactly who's playing. And I have our other computers updating. So we'll figure that out. I think we're going to take a small break here as we do load into the second official main stage game of the night. We did see FK White and Oak Park from the middle school division able to grab them after St. Louis took the 2-0 over Eyeway.
St. Louis, I feel like St. Louis is just getting better and better by the week.
Yes.
Like the first week, they were pretty good. They held their own against Barb, I believe.
Yes, they did. I remember that game. It was amazing.
They did get 2-0'd by Barb, but they did such a good job at holding their own. Isn't this their first season?
I'm not too sure. I wasn't with the league last year, but I know we do have a lot of new faces. But even if it's not, Barb was what? We were putting them second last year.
Barb
Sam Houston is the reigning champs. And now we do have that rematch. We have Barb, Sam Houston playing later on today. But
that'll be
for
a good match.
St. Louis to go pretty much even, yes, you don't get the win, but you go neck and neck with a team like Barb. They're looking
potential. It definitely shows the potential.
They have their playing shoes on this season. So we will catch y'all right here in a few minutes. We're going to load into another game here. So I guess we're going on break.
Yep. Break
See you on a
sounds
bit.
good to me.
right, guys, it looks like we're going to be loading into the second main stage game tonight. I'm over here at the casting desk having some lighting issues up front, so we're going to be reading the starting rosters from over here. So starting over on the red side, let's give it up for the Bell City Bruins. Woo! All right, so playing tank on jersey number 19, a sophomore, Peyton Rozzy Talbert. Playing support on jersey number 5, a junior, Bryce Thunder City Guidry. Our 2 tanks, jersey number 22, a sophomore, Keegan Gorgon Spell. Jersey number 53, a junior, Gavin Brave Spark Miller. Our other support on number 5, a freshman, Raina Ray Barrow Duhan. And rounding out this red team composition on damage, on number 15, a sophomore, Isaiah Hammond. Let's give it up for the Bell City Bruins. And fighting them tonight over on the blue side, the Grand Lake Hornets. There we go, I like it. On support, a sophomore, Dan and Liquid Zero Pruitt. On tank, another sophomore, John Lil JP03 Davidson. On support, a junior, Luke Tricky Hunter Brister. On damage, a senior, Logan Mankilla Mansilla. On tank, a sophomore, Noah A.T. Biscuits Guidry. And on damage, a freshman, Jaden Night Raven Legros. Let's give it up for the Grand Lake Hornets. All right, guys, we'll be loading into game momentarily, starting out on Horizon Lunar Colony. I know y'all can't see it, but they're all wishing each other good luck in the game chat. I like that. Good sportsmanship. All right, Grizz is joining me over here as we finally get some game sound there. And
I like game sounds.
I love game sounds. They're some of the best sounds. Yeah.
I've got nothing for that.
Oh, yeah. Hornets taking on the Bruins here. Horizon Lunar, I have not been able to cast one of these games yet today. I'm excited. I want to see some McCree.
You're excited
some
about
High
the most
Moon.
despised map in the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Grand Lake coming off of a win. Bell City coming off of a loss.
Do you think that then gives Grand Lake the edge?
If you're a momentum team based team, I would definitely say that coming off a win is better than coming off of a loss.
I would agree. I have some interesting picks coming out for Bell City. I see an Ash and a Winston.
Attackers incoming.
Not
Yeah,
the
I
most.
feel like Bell City has run this pretty consistently with Thunder City on the Sigma and Gordon playing
Right.
Winston. It's kind of an interesting comp, but Winston's in a really good place in the meta, probably the best he's been in a long, long time since dive was prevalent. And if he can jump on the top of those squishies and lay down a melee rocket jump, and tickle a little bit and jump back out, it's really, really effective. You can kind of single out players that make mistakes.
Right. But do you think you prioritize him over something like an Orisa or Reinhardt?
Well, if you're
Maybe
much,
Reinhardt.
if you're much better at Winston than you are Reinhardt,
Taking the pocket
play,
pit over the meta.
play to your strengths.
Okay, fair enough. I like it. I like it.
So one thing they have done several times is they've run that Winston into a Reaper,
Right.
which I generally don't advise, no matter how much better you are at them. But you know, you have to play a lot smarter. Luckily, Grand Lake not running a Reaper here, so probably not going to be an issue.
Junkrat is outside on the moon. Zero gravity then comes in. Whenever
Zero
first,
sounds when you're in space as well. I like that subtle effect.
right. You know, when they were making this map, they originally said that the entire thing could be played on the lunar surface. And that's just not going to be able to happen as May is taken down, but then revive again for the Bruins here. Using that Mercy to her full advantage. As ults are going to start coming online as Coalescence is immediately come out and then used by Tricky Hunter. Riptire's coming through as well. Riptire takes out one, Coalescence takes out one, and 4, 5, 6. Drop!
Grand Lake really
On Bell City.
steamrolling that fight. It looked pretty even, but once they lose one player, it's just sort of a cascade failure.
It definitely is. I
Bell City
was
goes back to spawn.
looking at the ults, and it looks like Rozzy might Oh no, that's a change onto the McCree. That's why we're at 0%. But the only one that would have been that sound barrier, but still sitting at 95, it's just we were able to get these ults up so fast with the Junkrat and the Moira throwing out those orbs, you know, those bombs, getting it up there.
Yeah, Bell City's going to have a lot to work with this, but they should have Bob and sound barrier and possibly a grab, maybe even a Valk. And so they should be able to win this push if they play it smart. Big rock coming in there from nobody can capitalize on it though. It's so far away, but it does dislodge them for just a minute. Now they get walled into this room right here. It's just going to stall a little time.
I love the dueling maze, or it was as. There it is. Sound barrier comes out as that Sigma ult is dropped and Bob thrown on in there. He takes out one immediately as it's answered with a Lucio on the right side. Boom! May comes in, explodes, and it is immediately pretty much a team wipe for Bell City.
Yeah, that was a really, really big bomb. I bet Bell City felt really safe. They had a shield on either side of that bomb, and I guess they were just really low health because it wiped right through them.
Right. It was
Winston runs back to spawn to rejoin his team. Smart move right there. Don't feed the extra ult charge.
Definitely not, but they waited for the sound barrier on the side of Bravespark to just fizzle out, and then May just hits Q, or, you know, whatever you're bound to. Little JP03 comes in and wipes him.
It is acceptable no matter what the player is about to refer to it as Q.
Yeah. Q comes in as the ultimate button primarily in Overwatch. Coalescence is on board again if they're going to try to do the same thing, but Primal Rage could be answered back with Winston, Gorgon on this Winston.
Not going to get a whole lot of kills with that Primal Rage, but it will stall out the point and dislodge a lot of people. It's going to sow a lot of chaos, but he's really going to have to jump in there and use it with the rest of his team.
Oh, there it comes out as Coalescence was already used, and they're dropping health bars on the side of blue.
4 frozen for Bell City.
Blizzard does come down, picks up 1, and sets up 2 more as they're answered back for Liquid Zero goes down.
Reaper taken out by the May. Bell City's going to have one more push if they go really, really fast. Thunder City needs to back out right here. They're not going to want to push without their main tank.
Definitely not. And, you know,
he's ticking down.
Blue's getting pushed back a little more, but not much as the ult from
There's
Thunder
not
City
anybody
does
there to
come out.
follow up with him, but he's the only one there. He has to get on point, and he's taken out. Lucio just barely manages to hop on point. That Coalescence is going to whittle him down.
Third Coalescence comes out, picks up 1. May jumps in, picks up another.
They did manage to get the res on Thunder City, so they're not taking this fight without their main tank.
They have to get on the point, though. We are in overtime.
Teleports up to high ground, then jumps back down. He's going to focus down this Reinhardt.
Definitely so. Reaping Oni comes in. Death Blossom immediately comes up. He throws it down for Riptire. Rolls in for Mankilla Mansilla there.
Riptire saves the day really right there. Bell City was about to clean that up, and the Riptire taking down 3 kills the rest of the Bruins on the point.
I was wondering about that final hold there.
It was looking sketchy for Grand Lake for a second there.
They did hold it.
I'm not sure. Oh, I broke the hamster.
Oh no, Hammond down. I reckon
You know
ball has been
I'll
wrecked.
fix him in a minute.
Let's see how Grand Lake is then going to push, maybe trying to learn from Bell City what to do, what not to do, what heroes might be good, bad, and
I think they can pretty much run the same thing that they just ran straight into that
likely.
comp.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I liked the Ana coming out from Liquid Zero as well. Sitting back, laying down some DPS, laying down some heals, keeping everyone refreshed.
A very good pick in this meta. And that Junkrat, generally not a super strong pick in the current Overwatch climate, but
it seems to be non-stop today.
That Winston Shield and the Sigma Shield have been both been nerfed so much, they're so weak that you could just plow right through them with a good Junkrat.
Yes.
And then that hallway, if they try and take high ground, he gets his Riptire every fight. There's so much splash damage going on there. I do like this switch to the Reinhardt from Bell City, though. That's going to give him a lot more sustain, a lot more damage if they can take in those close quarters.
We are seeing the Hornets, Grand Lake Hornets, running back the same team composition of heroes here, trying to now take the point instead of defend it against the Bell City Bruins. As, you know, every game today has pretty much been a May and a Junkrat.
May Junk or May Reaper, yes.
Man. I like it. I like it.
Very good picks there.
We did see Rozzy on McCree earlier, but looks like he will jump on the Mei as the first shots are exchanged here.
I think the Mei is really the right pick there. You get so much utility from it.
Definitely. The utility is outstanding. I almost consider Mei more, so much CC and utility in the kit that he's really a supportive DPS.
Speaking of the wall right there, forcing the Grand Lake to go outside, wall just blocking off that stairwell. I wish they would have put it out a little bit later, though, and focused down that Junkrat, section him off. Now Junkrat has a flank.
And Killa gets in behind them here and is really reaping havoc as he's trying to get here on this Mercy. She goes low, not taken out. Oh! Big one comes in from him. Man, Killa takes out 2 birds, 1 stone.
Bell City having to fall back really hard right here. Being overrun by Grand Lake. Grand Lake May frozen on the point.
We do find them dueling here as Reinhardt takes out Reinhardt, but he immediately gets trapped up by the Junkrat. He knows where his trap's laid. Riptire comes in, takes him out. Some stuns come. We're really trying to take this point. Contested 3v2 here. Trying to get that first tick. Blizzard comes out.
That's going to get 3 from Bell City. Junk Tower takes out Sigma. Bell City has now lost their main tank. Just May holding it down.
The Hornets are behind this point almost, but they get 3, and they will get the first tick, thus securing them
the win. Good showing from Grand Lake right there. Really good ult management.
I like how they pretty much
good May walls.
Push through the point into the back and then try to come back around to it. I love this. He's just getting in there in the back, reaping havoc, and then this is immediately Riptire is going to come out and take out Gorgon. Looks like Tricky Hunter with the Coalescence, keeping the rest of the team alive while Junkrat is just in the back lines. He does go epic.
A tear to my eye.
And that's game 1.
His team was nice enough to give him the card.
I like that. I appreciate that.
All right, so now we're going to go to Route 66, home of bad coffee and worse meat.
Man.
America?
America.
America is the home of bad coffee and worse meat?
They are battling in Route
Ryan
66.
would disagree with you.
Hey, that is true. Yeah.
Yes.
Route 66 is
fun fact.
Pretty abandoned now. No civilian casualties, collateral damage there, so they can fight and get this payload delivered.
What about Omnic casualties?
Do we care about Omnic casualties? Is that a hot debated topic here?
Omnics are people too.
Ooh, okay. Well, okay. Omnics are people too.
There's a
we'll go with it. Orisa.
Yes.
Orisa. She's good.
Zarya doesn't like Omnics though.
No. I get it.
Who does? Is that what you were about to say? That's awful.
No, it's not.
Awful.
But hey, I like it. These are the guys saying good luck to each other in chat. I know y'all can't see that, but they're being real nice and real.
I see now that I
supportive.
see the load-in screen. I see Grand Lake has that mysterious advantage, that so secret advantage of the matching player icons.
Yes. Although it's just the Overwatch icon, but
it doesn't matter. It matches. It's the
team
synergy.
cohesion. Yes. I was talking today. Cohesion doesn't necessarily mean productive or efficient, but if you have cohesion, you have something.
Cyan Esports has a pro player named Cohesion.
Did not know that.
Nobody does. But nevertheless, he does exist. So what do you want to see Bell City do different on Route 66 here?
No Winston.
No Winston? You don't like the Winston on this?
Well, I want to see a Lucio.
Okay.
And a not Winston. Now hold up. That doesn't mean a Zarya in place.
You don't want to see Sigma Zarya. No. Thunder City's playing Sigma, 100%. That's happening.
And I'm okay with that. I love it. I love it. Let's get the fluxes rolling. Just throw some rocks.
I think a larger portion is not the Winston. I think between the Mercy Lucio, you don't have enough healing output. I would like to see
kick the Mercy.
Kick the Mercy, get a. And really, if you're not using the speed boost to ferry your team around with the Lucio, the Mercy's fine for the res. But one of those two heroes needs to hit the bench and get a little more healing output.
An Ana?
Either a Moira or an Ana if you have a player that can hit their shots. Ana is basically like having a player on the bench if you can't, though. So it really
So that's how I kind of put.
That's a segment of debate.
Right. That's kind of how I look at Hanzo on DPS, man.
100%. I've
If
never
you can
played
land
with a good
those
Hanzo.
shots, man,
Because I'm in Gold League.
you are deadly. If you can't, then you play exactly like I do, and you don't play Hanzo.
So we could even see if they're going to play a little
Attackers
brawl comp.
incoming in 30 seconds.
Then we could see a Brig come out.
Now,
Brave Spark has swapped over to the Moira here, though, and I really like this swap. I think that's a good decision.
can we talk about another swap on the side of Bell City?
The Razzie?
The Sombra, baby.
I like this
The
swap.
Razzie.
I don't. It takes so much. It's so easy to get value if you have good shot calling,
Yes.
but it's hard to make plays by yourself because she doesn't have very high DPS. And so it's going to be interesting to see if they can capitalize on these call-outs.
Right, and we see, Grand Lake taking the first game 1-0 now, and Bell City, we don't necessarily know if it's a communication problem, but pulling out the Sombra is going to mean that you have to have that communication.
Right. You can't have just okay communication. You have to have excellent communication, and your team has to follow up on that communication, more importantly. So it takes a lot of coordination. Big Rock coming out here, pushing the Diva back.
There we
That's
go.
going to be an early pick from the Reaper.
There's that Mercy we were talking about, but on the side of the Hornets here.
Hornets do get off the res, so that is basically a wasted kill, but you do get the ult charge from it still.
Right, we are going a little low on the side of Grand Lakes. May has to pull back, looking for some healing as Diva now takes the front line, goes dangerously low. Reverse power to the forward shield zone. He'll be fine as Man Kill is taken down by the hands of Brave Spark.
Another big rock from Thunder City right in the face of the Diva. She is now demeched. Valkyrie comes out from the Hornets, going to keep everybody alive. Valkyrie does make Mercy heal everyone in a radius, and she can fly infinitely and has infinite ammo.
Right, Reaping only goes in and takes out one, but he's answered at his own life at the hands of Savvy. But I'm really looking at this death loss.
Reinhardt hacked. Nobody there to follow up on it, though, and Razzie's going to be in a bad position. He's going to have to retreat. Getting frozen down by the May. Cannot transpond out.
The Flux comes out, and so does Coalescence, and picks up 2 for the Bell City Bruins.
Heroes never die.
Another Valkyrie coming out with Bruins now. And the male comes down. That is going to be 2 players. Both tanks frozen for the Bruins.
Not much damage laid down, but At Biscuits does go down on the side of Grand Lake. We're just dropping. At Biscuits goes down. At Savvy, Lil JP03 is taken out of the mech.
Good shield placement right there from Thunder City, blocking that Diva ult. No players fall to that. And now Gordon getting swung on in the back of the head by Grand Lake's Reinhardt.
Tony has been holding on to this death loss for quite a while now.
Valkyrie out again. It's like Valkyrie is out every fight. This has really been 3 Valkyries in basically one long, drawn-out fight. Meanwhile, the payload's still just inching forward. Grand Lake staying in the game, but not contesting the payload during this whole fight.
The reses coming out from Ray Barrow are really, really instrumental as she does take some poison damage from that Ana grenade.
Thunder City just napping there right next to the payload. Oddly enough, close enough to the payload that he keeps it moving. Shatter doesn't quite get anything done.
It is
and Sombra translocates out.
nullified by another Reinhardt shield. Very unfortunate there as the Earthshatter does come out. Reaping Oni still holding on to this Death Blossom as we see the Riptire come out. Let's see where it goes. Boom! Reaping Oni finally throws out the Death Blossom, picks up 2, picks up another one on the other side as the Res also comes out. That's a 6v3. Grand Lake is going to have to pull back here.
That Savvy really just needs to back out, regroup. I know what he wants is to just get a little poke damage. But all that damage is just going to feed support ults.
Exactly. Fuel the ults, and you might just go down in the end. Just
like that.
Oni just pushes
That was a really long-range kill for a
Yes.
Reaper.
Yeah. These shotguns, Hellfire shotguns here that Reaper is wielding, very close range.
Right, I believe their fall-off damage starts at about 20 yards, which is basically like the length of the payload.
See a Bridget.
I like this Brig swap from Grand Lake.
Coalescence comes out and pushes them all from the high ground here.
That's a big EMP. 4 players on Grand Lake hacked. two of them fall. Both supports down for Grand Lake now.
Both of them going up because
really
of
hard
that
to sustain.
EMP. Oh, man, Killer taken very low, taken out by the Moira. Have to see what they can do here. Valkyrie is there. Shatter comes out, takes out 3.
But there's nobody to follow up on it with him.
Oh, Abiscus trying his hardest to not let this payload tick on 2. I think it's gonna.
River teleports up to the top. He's in Diva's face, but he's anti. He's going to have to back out.
Diva is getting on the point. And see if JP's going to throw out this ultimate. Doesn't look like yet. Activating the barrier.
Here, May ult coming out. Mankiller takes out Bell City's Mercy, and most of Bell City is frozen. That Riptire is going to pick up 2, and this is going to be a stalled push for Bell City.
They definitely needed this on the side of the Grand Lake Hornets. They needed to stop it so close.
They just sort of trickled in on that first fight. It lasted so long that they never really got their footing. This is finally the hard reset that they need. If they can get this kill right here, that is going to hurt Bell City. That is a wasted ult and a hard stagger.
I believe that was a headshot from Little JP. He dropped down and just pointed him. Sent him back to Mercy.
Let's be honest. You don't go for headshots at people.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're not. I'm not saying it was.
That's 3 and a grab.
Maybe it wasn't. The Flux comes out, picks up 1 as another one's answered as the Mercy goes down.
Breathing going to drop down on this Reaper, on the Reinhardt's head.
Fire Strike comes out, does a little damage, but not too much. That Viscus is really having to back up. Coalescence comes out. Not sure where, on the back end of the fight. There we are. We see her coming.
That is a nano grind, and that is scary. That is an anti-Reaper. He goes down.
Line's able to take out 2, 3. Mankiller takes out 1. And
they let the res get off. Reinhardt is back in business, and he has a shatter ready. He takes out the enemy Ryan.
Anna throws out her healing grenade, but in this aspect, it's a poison grenade. Helps take down
Grand
that
Lake
Reinhardt.
holds another fight.
They do. And this is where you're going to have to, I mean, Reaper is trying to get on there. You have to get on the point. Get on the payload. 5 seconds to go. He's going to try. Wraithform comes out. He jumps down. Does not have Death Boss. He's going to do his best. It's overtime.
Walks away from the point.
May ult just for aesthetics to take out Reaper as they answer. Moira trickles in.
Does not get off. Now there's just 2 on the payload. It is both the tanks. They're going to have a lot of sustain here, but there's not enough damage to get rid of the Grand Lake Hornets.
This is it. Look on the side of Grand Lake Hornets. They all have armor coming in. That's basically a sound barrier without having a Lucio. Lucio is League of Legends. Wrong game.
Correct. You spent a while in Toxic Village, didn't you? League of Legends?
I live in Toxic Village.
So it ended up being a very good hold for Grand Lake. That's about the same place that we saw earlier.
Yes.
The other team.
If there is something that you want to tell me. I see you.
My brain has died.
Yes.
Who did we cast first game?
I didn't cast the first game.
Oh. I have it over here. I don't have to wonder. That is where St. Louis held Eyeway.
Eyeway,
oh my goodness. My brain does not work.
Or Grand Lake Hornets. Eyeway is the Yellow Jackets. Man, I'm confusing my bugs today.
Well, you know, Hornet, Yellow Jacket, they're...
Are they the same thing?
Ready for battle.
And we just have different names. I don't know. We're not getting into bug anatomy here.
Hornets and Wasps are actually a...
like a sub?
They're a genus.
Yeah.
And so they're...
Was it Yellow
They're
Jackets?
basically the same family, yes.
In 30 seconds.
They both fly. I don't want them anywhere near me. So they're the same thing.
Yeah.
See a Baptiste coming out for Liquid Zero here.
We haven't seen any Baptiste yet today.
Not many. We've seen it, swapped for here and there, but it always gets swapped out. Not really finding the mark as the buffs did come through about last week, I think. Last Wednesday. Or not buffs, nerfs.
Nerfs.
Big nerfs.
I was going to say, Bap got buffed?
Buffs, and no one's playing it. Oh my goodness, no. And we see Rozzy sticking on that Sombra pick as now they look to defend instead of
I like
attack.
it because he's not going to have to go deep into enemy territory to make value of it. He can take these hacks in the middle of a fight.
And here's what I was saying I kind of want to see
gets
from Gordon.
picked early by the enemy Reinhardt, though. I didn't even see what happened. He must have got clipped on the foot by a stray swing. He was still in the air. And Lil JP flanking up top with that Diva, distracting the rest of the team. Reinhardt has to peel away to shield his team.
Mankiller takes out the enemy Reaper and Reaping Oni, but he is revived. Ray Barrow brings it on home, but Reinhardt goes down. Maybe you want to save that revive for your main front tank. But they're getting pushed out, and Grand Lake Hornets are just rounding the corner.
Yeah, this fight going all the way of Grand Lake this time. It's not going necessarily any faster than Bell City's push was, but it's a much more decisive fight.
Right. All right, now we have some ults coming online here. Coalescence for Brave Spark. Oh, the flux is immediately gained and immediately thrown down a sound barrier. Thrown out by Tricky Hunter.
Excellent response with that sound barrier.
I am a firm believer that sound barrier is a very responsive ultimate.
Absolutely.
That flux come out.
In pro play, if you have two Lucios, whoever sound barriers first, that dude made a mistake.
Yeah, definitely so. We hear the Riptire, and we see the Riptire taking out two.
That's going to be the main tank and the main support for Bruins down. They're going to want to back up and regroup. Gorgon's going to get staggered here.
Oh, no. I don't think you're going to make it out of that one, Diva.
That's good, though. Pushing. Early death rather than running away, thinking you're going to get away, and then get staggered really, really hard.
That is true. This is a very strong push coming out.
Grand Lake has all the tools online that they need to make this win happen.
We have to see Bell City hold for another 4 minutes.
I really like this Bear pick from Bell City here. The Sombra just wasn't doing it. He's going to be able to get a lot of height.
Take it very, very low.
You're pointing at the screen like you really want to say something.
I know. Well, I was waiting for her to go down, but she doesn't. Reaper jumps in. Death Blossom takes out the enemy Lucio as Diva tries to get something with the ultimate, but doesn't quite connect.
It's all right. Mankiller takes out Reaper right here. Razi's still just flying up top. He's putting down a little scatter damage, but he's not contesting the payload. Somebody from Bell City is going to have to touch.
Missile Barrage is coming online as another Diva Nerf comes in, takes out one. We have a Flux and a Missile Barrage coming online.
It is the main support that he takes out, though. Sometimes that's all you need.
That is true, that is true.
This is not your time.
Gorgon trying his hardest to stay on this payload.
The res comes back in for Bell City's Pharah.
They know that Pharah has Missile Barrage online as well as grabbing Flux from Thunder City and Coalescence for Brave Spark as well. This is going to be a very powerful alt segment, but
now the question is, do they combo the Pharah ult with, do they wait for the Mei ult, or do they do it with grab?
Not if they're communicating. I don't think you wait for the extra 75% to come in for Gorgon. But I mean, you still have 3 minutes.
They're probably going to have to combo it with something, though. They do have that Lucio ult online again.
I would combo it with the drop down of the Flux that will come in from Thunder City as we're taking pretty low here on the side of the Bruins. Oh, there's the Flux. It does come through. It's getting 3 as we hear the Reinhardt go down. Takes out the Diva, but she is up and running now. Coalescence comes out as well as Diva's mech is taken out. We're only dropping on the side of the Grand Lakes Hornets.
And now they have that Mei ult, and they have the Pharah ult, and they have the tools that they need to win the next fight.
We see 2 go down for Grand Lake, but they're still able to push just a bit, but they are getting pushed back now. Wait.
Late Diva ult, probably just using it to remake, but probably a mistake. Probably should have waited and just respawned with your team.
What was that?
Rookie mistake.
I should
probably really just a nervous mistake. You know, a lot of times you're in these fights and you know that you need to remech really quick, so you use your ult to remech. Probably just wasn't the time for it right there, though. Blue Wall's coming up, and the Mei ult coming out.
Mei ult is thrown down, and Riptire comes in and takes out 3.
And Mankiller takes them down. They do have that wall up. They are going to get the res on Thunder City, so they are going to have their main tank back. But they are getting pushed back.
Oh,
Darcy still holds on to that ult, saving it for a rainy day. I really like this Reaping swap onto the Mei as opposed to the Reaper.
Reaping was doing work back there, freezing all the frontline tanks. Unfortunately, does go down at the hands of the Diva.
Thunder City gets pinned, and he is going to go down by the enemy Reinhardt.
Here it is. Are we on this point? We need to get on the point. We have one sitting back there.
They're pushing it. They're going to need the Wrecking Ball. They're going to need a miracle. Mercy
Not gonna
comes around
happen.
the side, not quite fast enough, and Grand Lake takes the map. Strong showing from Bell City right there. I really thought they were going to hold that, and we were going to go to a map 3.
Would be Oasis.
Play of the game.
But we don't get it. Play the game coming in for Mankiller Mancilla on this Junkrat.
Triple kill.
All right, guys, I'm over here at the casting desk with Logan. Is it Mankilla? Am I saying Mancilla right? Or is it?
Mancilla, yeah, that's
okay.
right.
I didn't want it to be Mankilla, and I'm
Yeah, no.
mispronouncing the
No.
last name there so
yeah,
much.
I was surprised you said it right.
Yeah, hey, me too. That's why I was checking. But hey,
Yeah.
those Junkrat plays. Now I heard y'all shaking hands over here. It sounded like even Bell City was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So how do you think that went?
I think it went pretty well. We worked well as a team. We're starting to get better. We practice more, and we're communicating more. We have a really good support character, Mercy. He usually plays Mercy, but his name is Luke Brister.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best healers I've ever seen, so he's the one who's like really keeping us alive.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, you're in DPS, but you have these tanks and supports that really have to back you up. It's a 2-2-2 team composition with these heroes, and, like you said, the communication and the cohesion can really play a big part in this game. Yeah,
we started working well together.
Definitely. So any pocket picks that you might bring out, maybe like an Ash or something here and there? You think the Junkrat's working pretty well for you?
Yeah, I usually play the Junkrat, but sometimes I play McCree, but
nice.
I don't know. I think Junkrat can basically take on anyone.
Nice, man. Well, hey, I look forward to seeing some more of that Junkrat then.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Logan. Mankiller Mancilla over here, guys. And we will be jumping into the third game. Yeah, give it up. Nice job, Grand Lake. We will be jumping into the third game here, which I believe is Sam Houston versus Barb. Should be a very, very interesting match, and we will be jumping into that in just a few minutes. So hang tight. guys, the final game of tonight, Game 3. It's going to be played between Sam Houston Broncos and the Barb Buccaneers. So let's go ahead and jump into the starting lineups here. On the red side, the Barb Buccaneers. Oh, man. Come on. The Barb Buccaneers. There we go. All right. So let's see. Playing DPS, a senior, Travis Bismarck Sharp. Playing Flex, a senior, Isaac Dark Broussard. Playing Tank, a senior. These are all seniors. Colby Blob Blank. The other Tank, a senior, Hayden Sullen Duckin DeVilbis. And the 2 DPSs, both seniors, Alec Organic 74 Fusilier. And Trey Monkey Boy Melton. Let's give it up on the red side for the Barb Buccaneers. And their competition tonight on the blue side, the Sam Houston Broncos. Playing Tank in jersey number 6, Seth Loyal Miller.
Loyal.
Playing support, a junior, Ethan Lolmatic Burrow. Our 2 damage dealers, the first one in jersey number 1, a junior, Joseph Cheeseman Marshall. And the other in number 7, a junior as well, John Patatonix Patton. Playing Tank, jersey number 10, a senior, Matthew Sitting Duck Celestine. And last, but certainly not least, their support player, a senior, Nathan ya boy Neptune McFarland. Tear it up for the Sam Houston Broncos. Folks, this should be one heck of a match.
This is the match.
This is the match. The match to end all matches?
Both teams 3-0 haven't given up a map loss yet.
One of them's going to have to here. I think. That's how it goes.
I guess, like,
let's see.
One, you could get a draw on this one.
Let's see 3 maps. Let's get to Oasis tonight.
That'd be very exciting.
Ooh. We haven't.
But I'm not going to put money on it.
We have not gotten to a map 3 since week 1.
All right, which one of us is going to be wrong? We have to pick a different team.
I'm used to being wrong.
Okay.
So I'd like to be right for once.
I'm going to, out of spite for my alma mater, go with Sam Houston.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, so you went to Barb, right?
Yes.
I went to Sam Houston. So I'll root for Barb.
And I'll
you root for Sam Houston. There we go. There we go.
Because I got my boy Neptune over there.
There you go. Well, I have, let's see.
I
want to pick my favorite here, Blob. It's going to be Blob.
Blob?
That's the best username there.
I like Sullen Duckin personally.
Yeah?
It's always been one of my favorite high school esports names.
We are looking for some game sound here.
I'm not. I like the peacefulness.
No, wait, you just told me last match.
I'm trying to make myself believe it.
I do see.
I have some game sounds.
There we go. Symmetra coming out as well. Oh, Organic 74, McCree, it's High Moon on Lunar Horizon Colony.
Oh, no.
My favorite Overwatch joke. It's so bad.
So this is a pretty interesting strat over here from the Barb Buccaneers.
They're
going to teleport straight to point,
yep.
Something we've seen several times.
Sam Houston turn around.
Going to have to rotate down.
Oh, very good halt coming in, but just drives them all to the middle. It is contested 4v3, 3v2 as one goes down on each side. Oh, Barb Buccaneers slowly starting to get the best of this fight. Looks like 3 at least, now 4 going down on the side of the Sam Houston Broncos as only 3 go down for Barb. So looks like it is going to be at least a first tick capture here.
That's been such a quick strat every time we've seen it run. And you would think that one of the teams would learn by now to counter that.
1 minute.
Maybe put your own sim turrets in that wall, so as soon as they teleport in,
we do talk a little bit how this is high school esports, some of them middle school esports, and we're not really going to be looking for pro metas. But you know what? That sim right off at the bat, now usually it's switched off of, which it is here. We're down to the May. They throw the turret, switch it off. And
Cheeseman has pulled out your other favorite hero though.
Turbier coming out for the Cheeseman here. See a Sam
Barb already on point, and a Coalescence coming out is going to keep everybody up. I'm surprised she has it that fast since that first point went so fast. But Mortal does stack very, very quick. Sitting Duck already defect, and a Riptire coming out. manages to take out Sullen Duckin, and now Barb is down their main tank. They're going to have a hard time with that with these Broncos respawns coming in so fast, but the time is just ticking up.
The high moon comes out for Organic 74, picks up 2 there, and when the
Loyal
Riptire
misses
came out,
point with his charge, and Barb takes it very, very quickly. 5 minutes left in the bank.
That's 2 minutes.
Score.
That's
0
good.
to 2.
That's a good push.
5 minutes is basically an eternity. You don't often go to the time remaining and see it count up.
No, definitely not. Now, we did see, I want to point out when that Riptire came out and only picked up Sullen Duckin for the Broncos, there was a sound barrier that went down right in the nick of time and saved a lot of their members. So that push could have been halted with that Riptire, but fortunately the sound barrier does come out and they're saved and get a 2-minute point.
Begrudgingly, good play from Barb there.
Yeah. Woo! Let's go, Barb.
It's your job to cheer for your team. You
I know.
picked Barb.
I'm not very used to doing it, you know.
Okay, do you want to swap? Do you want me to cheer for Barb?
No.
You can cheer for, okay.
No, my boy Blob is going to bring it on home here.
Ready.
Who out here is cheering for Barb?
1,
There we
2,
go.
3, several. Nice, I like it. Here we go, 30 seconds, and we see Cheeseman just, I mean.
Attackers incoming.
Are you disappointed in his
I'm
swap?
not, no, I just, another niche pick here on the Tracer.
It's not a niche pick. It's a good pick. There's
Well, it seems
nobody
like
on that
Cheeseman
Barb team to
has
counter
the-
Tracer.
He has the largest champion pool here, hero pool, but however, DPS does have by far the largest pool available.
Right.
So, I mean, it's easy to say a support player or a tank player
If you're
can play all of them.
So there's like 6 tanks. If you're good at 6 tanks, you're still not even as good
Close.
as
At the DPS.
a third of the DPS lineup.
Right. Blob coming out here on the Diva. We do see Dark on Zenyatta. I'm interested to see how that's going to work, especially with the Tracer who can get back and just annihilate him. Oh,
That was a
Tracer's
quick
going
wall.
outside.
Cheeseman's going to take a little detour out into the quiet place. He's on timeout right now. Gonna do a little flank. Organic has a
there.
swap to Soldier here, and it's an interesting pick. Doesn't puts down good consistent damage. Not usually picked whenever you can pick somebody with a little more utility that does more damage.
Allow me to damage.
They are on the point here. Trying to contest it. Are contesting it. All 6 from the Sammys and Broncos are on the point.
Once
Trying
that
to
May
make it
goes
happen.
down,
Orb
Organic's
of
going to have to
Discord.
drop down, but he's up top just laying down havoc.
Over Discord,
Now
he
Divas
goes on
moves up
Cheeseman.
top.
He's gone.
Cheeseman is gone, but so are the rest of the Buccaneers, and Sam Houston captures this point almost as fast as Barb. They're gonna have quite as good of a time bank, but that's a very solid take right there.
About only, I believe that's 14 seconds slower than Barb captured their first point. And Patatonix on this Reaper really putting in the DPS, the deeps.
That is what you refer to as
Deeps, yes. Making it happen. I know here Barb is going to stand strong because that's who I'm rooting for.
A good eat right there on the fire strike, not letting any chip damage go to that Reinhardt ult.
I like how Sam Houston is pulling back. They know this bridge is held very well with that Reinhardt just keeping it.
Swing left. Diva's going to go to the top of that May wall and just knuckle out the Barb.
Coalescence is out, really keeping the Diva on Diva violence here evened out. Diva's on the
really
Soldier.
trying to deal with this Soldier, matrixing him out. So he's got a heal orb and his own personal heal. Big shatter coming down from Loyal, but the Trance is going to come in and save him. Moira ult also coming out. Barb stacking a lot of ults right now. They're not going to have a whole lot to work with. Sam Houston really needs to save theirs and push this out. They need to back up, use this as an eco push.
Blizzard is thrown down, kind of like a zoning Blizzard. You keep them off at that point. It does work. Gets an assist on there for Monkey Boy there on the May. But
Sam Houston not going to have a whole lot to work with this push. They're probably going to need to poke a little bit for a push or two and hope that they can force a couple more ults out of Barb. They did do a really good job of forcing 3 out on that fight, including both support ults, though.
Blob, they're taking some long-range damage from Patatonix, about 3. Take some damage from those Hellfire shotguns. Oh!
Blob engages with the Diva Bomb. Doesn't manage to get anybody.
As they're all coming around from the side.
Your boy Neptune laying down cover fire from back. He is almost walled off.
Reaper jumps in with the Death Blossom. Sound Barrier goes down.
By the Diva Matrix, and a slam comes down. Gets 3. Another Diva Bomb coming out.
Oh, able to pick up one as Cheese Man just punches Dark in the face and takes him out. As Sam Houston takes out 3, 4 on the side of the Barb Buccaneers, and that's 1
Barb
tick.
is going to have to rush out.
Oh, that's 2 ticks. They get it right as Reinhardt jumps on, but Sullen Duncan looks like he will go down, sitting at 51, 21, 6, and 0 health. They got a hold
Barb
here.
just staggering in. They're bleeding down the clock really efficiently, but they're going to have to make something happen if they're going to want to win this engage. Moira Coalescence coming out, getting beaten down by Loyal. Loyal with a big shatter.
And, oh, they're going to get on it. They're going to get on it to the last second. Dead Moon comes out, but he's taken out. Organic is taken out by Lomatic as soon as the High Moon's going to come out.
Really good push right there from the Broncos. Really respectable time back. Not quite as good as Barb, but now they know the cheese strat that Barb has, and hopefully they have a plan to counter it.
Well, Cheese Man knows all cheese strats.
So Sam Houston has the shorter time back, so they're going to attack first. Barb is going to be on the defense again.
I want to see... I'm going to equate this to both teams having good offense, but both teams looking a little lackluster in their defense.
No, it's 100% Barb just cheesed the strat out. Sam Houston has it.
You can't talk about my Barb that way, man.
Ready.
Hey, Blob, I saw your Diva coming out with the ult, 0 kills. Blob came out with the Diva ult, 1 kill.
Bob engaged that with a Diva ult and got 0.
I mean,
and then Sitting Duck closed it out with 2.
Pure numbers here.
Look, we'll get the stats tracker.
I have the stats tracker.
Your stat machine is broken.
Your boy Neptune over here on the brig. Glad to see that coming out. And Cheese Man, I expect nothing less.
Different hero every respawn.
I like it, but you know what? If it works, you say play to your strengths. The whole DPS hero pool is apparently Cheese Man's strengths.
I like it. I like the confidence. Organic also making a new swap off the Soldier onto the Hanzo. He's going to know exactly where the team is all times.
And with Dark, another Baptiste coming out. Seeing how this is going to work out for Barb. Oh, wow. Organic landing the headshot on the Cheese Man.
Disappointed in you.
Now, Genji can deflect.
But only if he knows it's coming, oddly enough. You have to,
when you walk out
that button.
in the middle of a lunar colony base.
Nobody expects a Hanzo to be able to hit his shots. Nobody.
Okay, fair point. Fair point.
We just talked about that.
Oh, Barb, Organic 74 doing really well on this Hanzo. Landing some good shots in there.
Reaper walled off from the rest of his team. Platonic's going to have to back up a little bit here.
Definitely not the same approach that Sam Houston took last time that they're trying to storm the point.
No, but you don't want to do the exact same strat. You want to leave a few surprises. That Maywall splits off the team.
Maybe they need to try the same strat.
They're doing a little back capping right now. Oh. That is also a cheese strat from the Cheese Man.
I expect nothing less at this point. Nothing less.
Maywall going to bring everybody back up top. They're going to reclaim high ground, and Broncos sent back to spawn to regroup.
And we'll wait for Cheese Man to get up, and they're going to start showing their faces here.
Dark just laying down a little supportive fire, trying to build up that ult.
We do have an ult for Bismarck here, the Coalescence. The only R on the board is the enemy Coalescence.
While here on high ground, trying to take down that Reinhardt shield. It does shatter, and Rob just backs out. Meets up with his main tank.
Another headshot from Organic onto the Moira as the Coalescence coming from Bismarck, as well as the invulnerability field. I practiced that pronunciation.
Yeah. So we can just call it Lamp.
There we go. That works too. And
Broncos sent back to spawn again.
3 more go down on the side of the Broncos.
They're going to have probably 2 more pushes.
We only got a minute left.
That's enough for 2 pushes.
60 seconds.
But they're going to need to make something happen. They're going to need to force some of these ults out from Barb at the very least, because Barb is very stacked in ult economy.
Very much so. We do see Cheese Man switching off of the Genji onto the McCree here. 4 ults are up on the side, and we're looking at the Bismarck as the amplification matrix does come down from Dark. Seeing Monkey Boy.
Platonic's on the point. He draws 2 down. He's going to need to get out. foolish to stay there by yourself at this point. But the Moira ult does come in. It's going to keep him up.
Patatonix trying to take this point here. Blizzard does come down from Monkey Boy. Organic and Sullen Dustin still holding onto those ults, seeing if they're going to need it. We are rounding out 20 seconds here.
Sam Houston's in a really bad spot now. They're going to have to rush to touch that point. Lucio really needs to run back to ferry his team back to point if they're going to make it all there together. Cheeseman swaps to Tracer to try and make it.
Oh, Loyal on the point, takes out Organic, throws
he does
it
get
down.
Shatter down, and May is saved by Lamp. Loyal goes down as the whole team collapses on him.
No, here it is. It will be a wipe, maybe. There it is, delayed wipe as your boy Neptune comes up just as Lomatic goes down, and Barb Buccaneers are able to hold on round 3.
3 minutes is a really long hold. Oh. And now Sam Houston has to make it 5.
2-2. Switching sides.
Barb only needs 1 tick to claim victory on map 1.
Initiating.
From what I saw on the really cohesive part of Sam Houston's push right there, I don't know if they're going to be able to hold this point. I think Barb takes this.
Of course you would. I don't want to hear anything else out of your mouth.
This is pure analyst talking right now, I promise.
Stop fanboying on Barb.
Ready.
God.
Oh, yes. Another pick from Cheeseman coming out with the Ash. I want to see some Bob being thrown in here as Organic is sticking to his tried and true.
Is this the 5th hero we've seen Cheeseman on?
How many DPS heroes are there?
Attackers
17? And this is the 17th pick that we've seen from Cheeseman. Let's see if we see this Monkey Boy strat coming out again as he switches to the Symmetra.
If Sam Houston falls for this strat again, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They should know that this is coming.
Following these Junkrat bombs.
Patatonix just throwing out a little spam damage. Nobody likes spam.
3, 2,
Cheeseman might like spam. Spam's the old cheese, you know?
Spam and cheese.
Ooh, that actually sounds really good.
No.
No? No, not a spam fan?
All right, so Barb going to be cycling through on the left. Going to throw that scouting arrow out, so he's going to know that they're not top right.
There it is. They did it again.
They're on point.
They're on the point. Symmetra throws
going to
it
have
down.
to drop down.
Oh, Schlock getting taken out.
Oh, misses his pick. Will getting roasted down by that sim beam.
Oh, Sam Houston are getting torn apart. 3 go down, 4 go down, 5 go down. As Patatonix going to drop it, doesn't matter as they give up the tick and Barb takes the point. They did. They fell for it again. That's my analyst predictions coming true right there.
Play of the game.
Play the game, giving the Sullen Duckin on Reinhardt. Old man there is back surging. Takes out 1. Takes out 2.
Barb's coach sitting in the dugout, watching the replay, looking awfully smug.
Nothing. No reaction. Barb takes it 1-0.
Smugness.
Thumbs up to that.
If anyone didn't know, look at that 7 on Monkey Boy. Teams only consist of 6 players. Very sportsmanlike there. I like it.
I like it as well.
Give a little claps there. I do want to mention that Sam Houston are the reigning champions, and Barb just took a game off of them. Now, Barb came in 2nd?
Yes.
Last year. So this is number 1, number 2.
Almost a whole new roster, though, for Barb.
Yes. And now, when I was reading these, they're all seniors.
That means they have to restaff next year.
It's going to be a tough
I don't know what
some of these guys.
Jeremiah's going to do whenever he has to restaff his whole team next year.
We'll jump on
Hopefully he's got some good rookies in
there.
training.
We can go back to high school.
I don't think he wants us on
We
his
can
team.
shave, we might pass.
All right, so that aside,
Route 66.
What does Barb need to do to win this map? Because this one is Sam Houston's.
You think so? I see another Symmetra coming out.
Do you?
I do, actually. What? Now let me
All right, tell me this Symmetra strat that you see coming out.
All right, so
because Symmetra on Route 66, not a pick that I'm familiar with.
Not something that you should probably ever play. However, Barb's looking to do some cheese of their own.
I want to see Barb pull out the Symmetra again. Also, a Lucio Brig.
Yes. Oh, dude, right here, first turn, environmental kills, my favorite type of KO in the game.
I've thrown down the gauntlet. Lucio Brig from Barb. I want to see it. If you don't beat Sam Houston with Lucio Brig, you weren't trying.
Brig can be considered hit or miss. Lucio is
Mostly
an obvious. Okay.
Lucio,
now,
obviously
calm
the
down.
best pick.
Lucio, very, very meta, very, very good here. Sound barrier. I'm going to say best ult in the game. Earthshatter might be in contention. That's what
I'm not going to argue with that. I think that's a fair
Sound barrier's
assessment.
so good. The range on it to get your entire team, it's hard to not.
Oh, I've seen some people miss it. I think that
you're probably playing with me.
the timing on it is the most important thing.
And we were talking about
it can save you from so many things, but it wears off so fast. It's definitely, as you said earlier, a reactionary ult, but it can save you from virtually anything.
It is a tick down, though. It's not an immediate wear off. So,
right.
you know, that does extend the time or usefulness a little bit. Now, we were talking about matching team icons earlier. We do see some Bs coming in for Barb and some S's coming in for Sam Houston. I really like that.
I have noticed before that Barb does use all the Boston Uprising logo. It's the white and it's the B. It's so perfect.
I did see them. If you saw on Horizon, they had them as sprays and they were spraying them everywhere.
I did not notice that.
You didn't? Some team fight ensued, and I didn't get to point it out, but they were doing that.
So did Barb put theirs down and Sam Houston put theirs right behind it?
I didn't see any Sam Houston ones, but when they were setting up, I did see some Barb. I really like it. Coming out with some sprays here. We do not allow skins just for trying to keep it as fair as possible, but sprays, go for it. A little bit of
100%
creation there. Pentatonics. Turbulent.
Are you excited? I really like this Barb composition, unfortunately. It's a really solid composition, really meta, and I feel like it's going to work really well.
We called one the Lucio. It's hard to not go to the Lucio here. Order Discord, hit some bluff. They're not going to take too much damage. It's Reinhardt.
Sam Houston comp, a little bit more confused about.
One of the things I'm very surprised about is Sam Houston just sets up on top of this gas station here.
Well, they're doing the Star Wars strat. They have the high ground.
They do, but they give the first turn up, and that's a very strong hold point if you can hold it, as they lose a support, and the other support goes down as well. Reinhardt going on the other side of this ice wall, and he's taking down 4. He pays. That's 4 down on the side of Sam Houston. Barb pushing very strong.
The rest of Sam
here.
Houston going to need to back out, and the Zen swaps out to a Lucio. Probably a good decision.
Oof.
Petonic's pretty close to his ult. I would like to see him probably swap off that Torb after he uses it.
McCree swapping to Maeve, Cheese Man. I do think with the amount of high ground.
Has Cheeseman just showed his hand? Has he revealed that he has entered the end of his hero pool?
So many low health bars on the side of Sam Houston, and one gets taken down. The mech gets taken down on Diva, and Lomatic goes down too. They are just annihilating Sam Houston here. McCree taking out 3.
My keen analytical mind.
And Barb rolls right through point A, virtually uncontested. Entirely huge time bank.
Oh man,
almost 5 minutes.
We have the Blizzard up. We have High Noon up.
Barb taking a very forward hold, very aggressive. I like this hold, but I would like to see 5 of them there instead of 4 or 3. You're not going to win a 6v3, but you can maybe eke out a win in a 5v6 where you just even the odds and then pull back.
Right.
You've
We
stalled
need
their
something
defense.
now.
Because with 3 people on the payload, all you're doing is rushing to the fight with the payload. If you can get away with having one player that peels back and forth between the payload, you can really get just as much progress without risking losing a fight.
High Noon does come out as, big Earthshatter comes out as 3. Drop on the side of Sam Houston there. Critically, I do want to point out that Pentatonics was on the Turbulent, swapped out at about 70% ult onto the what is his name? Reaper. There we go. It back up to 73, but he does go down at the end of that as Barb stands strong. There it is. There it is. Boston Uprising on the payload. Barb pushing very strong here. Pentatonics lost a lot of ult energy there with that swap out. Never got the Molten Core off.
Yeah, but if you're not going to make it to your ult, then you may as well just switch off. You know, he got back, he played the Reaper, he's already back up to where he was in one push. I think it was the right decision.
Blizzard comes in as well.
Barb invests 2 ults right there, maybe a little bit too much.
Critically,
But they are
though,
going to roll into point B.
critically, they take down your boy Neptune at 97% ult, and he is not able to drop that sound barrier as Blizzard and Earthshatter come down, thus securing them the second tick.
Little swapping over to the Winston here.
All right, I'm looking for Patatonic's Death Blossom here. I think it is maybe one of the only things that is going to halt this massive push. Organic looking for a high.
They're going to have to force out that Lucio ult before they drop the Reaper ult, though.
Ow.
Just put down the damage. What they need to do is focus down on Sullen Duckin, eliminate the main tank, or eliminate Lucio, or just hope that he fat fingers it. Now is the time for Patatonics to use that.
Oh, there's Death Blossom comes out, picks up one, allows Loyal to pick up a second one, but here, Organic.
Bismarck takes out Patatonics.
They're typing all shot worth here.
Broncos do win that fight, but they don't realize Organic is just high nooning behind them.
Oh, takes out one.
That is the main source of healing on Sam Houston. Headshot to May, but not quite enough to get it done. Loyal takes him out. Sullen Duckin picks up 2, and then Dart picks up the Cheese Man.
Your boy Neptune goes down as 4 go down. He does have sound barrier. It is only Low-Matic standing, and they are pushing in.
This is rough times for the Broncos. They're going to have to regroup and push back really fast.
They can't get on the point. Oh, we get, oh, no.
Loyal walled off. The sound barrier comes in.
Blizzard as well. Broncos holding strong. Sound barrier is immediately melted.
This is going to be the Broncos' fight right here as Buccaneers smartly back away.
After losing
But Sam
2.
Houston has no tools left to work with. They're going to have that Earthshatter come on and maybe the Coalescence at the beginning of the next fight.
Have a Flux if they make it that far. Barb, amazing coordination here, but it might be more brute force as a sound barrier comes in from Dark's Lucio. Oh,
Loyal gets walled off.
Monkey Boy immediately taken down by Patatonics. Blizzard does not get out, as well as Sullen Duckin. No, Earthshatter for Barb once again. Sam Houston takes the fight. Oh, they're looking to take one more. Organic does go down. The swing from that rocket hammer.
That's a late stagger right there. That's going to really halt Barb's ability to push for the next few seconds. A few seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but whenever you're 10 meters from the payload, you have 1 second left. You wish you had those extra 2 seconds.
Definitely. Just under 2 minutes here for Barb to get that final push.
Rob doing a little poking from the side, trying to build up that ult.
Oh, there's the
Shadow
Earthshatter
comes down from Sullen Duckin. It gets several, and now the Mayo, they're going to be able to clean up all of the Broncos right here, except for Cheeseman, who raises himself up on a wall.
That's a wipe. Team kill.
Your boy Neptune has respawned, and he is on Lucio. He will be able to make it.
Get it on, get on, get on.
Oil ult comes out, the grab comes up, it picks up the entire Buccaneers team, but it doesn't get any kills. Nobody's there to close out the damage.
Loyal, get on there. You're on Hammond. You got to get in there. There's a smash comes down. Doesn't really do anything. D-Ball comes through. It's not going to pick up. Oh, does pick up Hammond there.
Unfortunately walked around the side of the payload. He was defended by it, but then he edged out, and that ult caught the edge of his hamster wheel.
Tactical Visor does come down there trying, but Lucio, your boy Neptune, is just sitting on this point here. Sound barrier comes out on the side of Dark.
They are draining all the time off of this clock. They're doing a very good job. I don't know if they have enough to stall it out and not catch it, but they have 40 seconds to stall.
The Broncos are put in the stables of the Barb Buccaneers.
That was, you know what, that was good.
Thank you. I was working on that all night.
I'm not surprised. Good push from Barb right there. Broncos held them basically 2.5 minutes after point C. Very good stall there.
Now,
Don't leave a whole lot of time in that time bank for Barb. They are going to have to complete the map, though, or this will be the series.
Did Barb win earlier today? They played Lagrange, I believe.
Yes.
And I believe Sam Houston is coming off of a win as well. Like you said, they're both undefeated
Correct.
this far.
They were both 3-3 without giving up a map. Except Sam Houston has now given up a map.
But if they win, it's okay.
That is true.
I'd rather...
That was a word, I promise.
No, it's okay. I was going to ignore it. I'd rather lose the battle, win the war. That's such an old saying, but it holds true.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, you just get rid of that map where like, oh, they're gonna run some cheese stuff. We're not even gonna worry about that one.
Well,
We're
now
gonna win.
instead of Cheese Man, it's Pentatonics on the Tracer. Coming in, your boy Neptune switching off the Lucio for the Brig. Wants to get that rocket flail going around a little bit here as Organic switches back.
If you're going to play as a team, the Brig is really just as good of a pick as the Lucio. If you're not going to use the speed boost to move around, you don't necessarily need to maneuver around whenever you're escorting the payload. If you're going to hover around it, the payload will give you a little bit of extra healing. And as long as you can close distance and encounter with the Brig, she's going to give off almost as much as healing as the Lucio with a lot more utility.
I do see
combat.
Barb doing the kind of the same strat as Sam Houston did around
Organic's going
this
for
first.
a cheeky little first push, and that Sigma Shield's going to kind of push right up. Make that purchase unavailable.
They know now, they haven't really seen them, especially with those arrows coming through from the Hanzo. They know they're right around this corner. And they will go through the mountain here as they leave May on the point.
As I was saying earlier, just one person on point. If you can do without them in the fight, that's all you need on payload, because you're just hurrying that player up to the fight.
I want to
really
see some
good
more
rotation
shield
of the
juggling
right
come out from the side of Sitting Duck, but 3 go down, and Sitting Duck drops as well. That's 4 down on the side of the Broncos. There's only 1 drops. The Barb Buccaneers.
Broncos
will reset.
are repelled off of Big Earls.
Big Earls. Is that that is a gas station?
Yep. It's also an alien from Toe Jam and Earl.
There you go.
It's the big one.
Big Earl? Is that why they call him Big Earl?
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
The diner is called Toe Jams.
Also using passive, jumping up, trying to get some cheeky ults. Amplification Matrix does go out from Darkest.
Was that ult just interrupted?
Yes, that was Earthshatter.
Loyal goes down during his
He dies while he casts Earthshatter.
Wow, D-Max, but Pentatonics in a rough spot right here. Organic's raining down damage from on top. Don't know if he's going to have quite enough to hold it by himself, and he is going to retreat.
Got another amplification matrix question for you.
Barb does have basically all their ults coming online except for their support ults. So they have a lot of tools to work with to win these fights. Broncos don't have a whole lot to work with except for that Brig ult. Rally, very powerful, usually used at the beginning of a fight.
Hanzo throwing the Dragon Strike through the back of Sam Houston. Gets some.
Just going to kind of zone Sam Houston off the cart. Big Shatter coming down, gets 3, and they're all trapped in the May ult as well.
Oh no, Pentatonics goes. Honestly, I just see Barb being leagues ahead of Sam Houston right here. In what we thought was going to be a very even game. They're all holding pretty well as only Cheeseman has dropped.
Oh, Big Shatter right there eliminates Bismarck.
Oh, the Flux with the Shatter, and he's going to drop him. Picks up 1, picks up 2. Very, very good Ryan shield.
Does pick up the Moira. The Moira I thought was hidden behind the card. Must have glimpsed just one little pixel of her frame. But she's very quick. She'll make it back. They just need to deal with this Diva on point. And the Moira ult comes out to a solo kill Loyal. And this fight is going Barb's way.
Pentatonics trying his best to stay on this point, but he's very, very low. Oh, gets taken out. Fire Strike comes in.
Pentatonics probably should have just backed out right there. The payload wouldn't have made that much negative progress. He should have just regrouped with his team right there. Probably just not thinking about the fact that you have to stall. On defense, very good. Stall that out. But on attack, it only takes one of them to stop it, so you don't really need to be there to contest it moving forward.
Right. We see a purely DPS coalescence come out from Lomatic there, just basically into Solo ducking the shield, and doesn't really do anything. It's Pentatonics once again
Cheeseman on yet another hero pulls out the Pharah. Loyal with a big pin, doesn't quite get the kill.
But he goes down again, another Earthshatter. But we keep losing the DPS on the side of Sam Houston, and Sitting Duck is going low as well. Devo, oh, we have a Ryan now.
Big bomb. Loyal takes out the Diva while she's low, and then follows up with the May.
Lots happening here. We go into overtime as Sam Houston tries to push back against the Barb Buccaneers.
Doing a whole lot, but the inflammation matrix keeps people up. Loyal now swinging his hammer.
Beautiful!
Pentatonics gets 2 with the sticky bomb, and Cheeseman takes out Organics.
Looks like they might be able to get this tickets. All they need, got to take out that Moira. Nope, she takes care of herself.
Retreat. The Broncos do pick it up with 2.5 minutes left.
In overtime, they pull it through. Cheeseman throwing some rockets through those opening doors there.
Just going to get a little spam damage there from the Cheeseman. Sam Houston, not a whole lot of ults to work with. They committed a whole lot to get that, but if you don't commit it and don't get the point, why did you have it?
Moira, her attack and heal, is that a projectile?
Her orbs are, but her left and right click are not. They do not get amplified through DM.
10-4, good buddy, as Dark actually takes out Cheeseman. Amplification matrix comes down.
Lucky Boy going to be doing a lot of damage shooting through that with those ice spears.
Organic does switch off of Ponzo here in favor for the McCree.
Big rock coming in from the Broncos Sigma forces May to use her ice block. Big shatter from Loyal.
Wants to take down the enemy Reinhardt. Oh, he's answered back. Rally
comes down. Rally comes out. Blob going low. He's going to get taken out by the Brig.
We are very, very split here, fighting on 2 fronts. As your boy Neptune is able to take out Blob. Try to get on the payload, but Sullen Duncan sitting there saying, no thank you, please move.
Sullen Duncan, the real veteran from Barb, really a rock-solid player from last year, has a lot of experience, really good at holding those
Funky Boy and Organic, the 2 DPS on the side of Barb Buccaneers, really trying to line up those ults. The Blizzard comes down and he shoots the high noon, only picks up one, is able to pick up.
Sam Houston now having a lot of ults coming online. They're going to need to regroup to make use of them, though. And they're just getting staggered right here. Half the team is away, and they're just hanging out on the point. Moira ult doesn't come in quite early enough to keep his 2 people. It was reactionary. He was trying to keep up his 2 players that were on the payload. It just wasn't quite there. You've been that, Lucio, where you hit Q and they die as you're in the air. That's what just happened.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Very strong hold looking like it's coming in from Barb right here. Sam Houston's going to have to get on. This is their last chance. They have 18 seconds left.
I expect this Diva ult to come through. There it is, trying to zone them off, but it goes a little wide. Lomatic getting low here on the Moira. But Pentatonic sitting stuck. Flux comes out, picks up 2, picks up 3.
This is Sam Houston's moment. They're going to have to make it happen right here. It does look like they're going to clean this up.
Here. Are they going to go? Are they going to let them have this, or try to push them back?
I think they're going to see.
They're going to try to go for the hold in the end, I think.
All right.
As it does look like Barb retreats. Sam Houston gets the 2nd point.
They'd already burned him down to overtime right there. I thought we were going to see a little stall right there, but they weren't going to win that 1v6 engage, so it's probably a smart move right there. Don't feed the ult charge.
Only a minute 30 to get onto that last point. Now only down to a minute and 10 seconds.
Sam Houston's going to basically have to stay on this point the whole time. They're not going to be able to run up and be really aggressive the way they want. They have to stay alive. They have to play for sustain. Will holding that shield up. Big shatter. But he gets frozen. Die comes out, and the Moira ult's reactionary.
Every ult comes out from Sam Houston. We got the High Noon, the Jeff Blossom, the Coalescence, and the Earth Shatter trying to take down Barb and push this point in. 45 seconds remain.
That was a very strong engage, but they have used up all their resources. Barb is now going to have ult economy. And if they play their cards right, they're going to win this. But Sam Houston does have a good chance. They've got good sustain on the payload.
Tactical Advisor comes in. Big Shatter comes in, but it is negated. Tactical
Loyal is sectioned off by the May wall, and he gets taken down. Broncos are now down their main tank and their main heal. And they have a really long run to get back to this point. Sitting Duck trying to take down that May, but he's going to get frozen and whacked.
We enter overtime here in 5 seconds, and it looks like Barb might be able to hold this. Let's see if anything's coming out. Cheeseman trying to get in there as Reinhardt zooms through. Loyal immediately taken out. Too much DPS. Cheeseman trying to get on this point using the Tracer. Oh, he's skipping around it. Oh, Blizzard comes down. They're going to try to freeze him out.
Reaper teleports on the point. Strong maneuver. Does he have to sustain the stake?
Gravity Flux comes out. He's going to drop him. Nothing comes out of that. His Pentatonic is booped off at the point by Dark. Overtime ticking down.
Loyal coming back on his ball. D-Ball doesn't get anything.
They're doing a good job of keeping this overtime up, but I don't think it's going to be enough sooner or later.
Almost up again. Another big shatter comes down.
There it is.
And the Broncos fall. You know, that was a very good push from Broncos. Very good hold from Barb. This 2-0 score does not really reflect how close this game was.
Definitely not. We don't get to see Oasis. Monkey Boy coming in here on May. Wow, what a game.
And we're going to not show. Yes, we are.
We are.
That wall right there, that sectioned off Loyal. Ooh. Very, very good wall. And then the little punch on Cheese Man.
May on May violence right there.
Just insulting.
Epic.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
We will.
Zach is going to go grab Sullen Duckin for an interview.
Sullen Duckin, if you can hear me, please report to the casting desk.
You've been called out.
Come on up here. We're going to call this the principal's office.
To the icebox.
Yes.
We good? Am I coming through?
I believe you are.
Cool.
Yep, there you go. Everyone, Sullen Duckin here with the Barb Buccaneers. How's it feel to take down, give them their first loss, last year's reigning champs?
It's so good.
I
It's
can
so
tell.
good.
I can tell.
We're ecstatic.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you've taken down Sam Houston. You're undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone that y'all are scared of yet?
Not yet. No,
Not
not
yet?
yet.
Not yet?
We have yet to see it.
Okay. Okay. Anyone maybe? Have y'all played Sulfur yet?
We've not.
sure.
No,
Not-
this team. No, we've not played Sulfur.
I think, from what I've seen, maybe we'll go to three maps there.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sticking strong with the 2-0.
Well, see, they're getting better. They're practicing and they're doing all that, and we're
Definitely
doing the
so.
same thing. So if it keeps up right now, we should be able to cream them.
Yeah,
So
awesome. How's the communication going within the team? Y'all looked very, very coordinated in this game.
I think we lost some coordination on 66, but we were overall very coordinated. We've got a great team here, great people. We're all friends, so no, we're communicating pretty well.
Nice. I'm glad to hear it, Sullen Duckin. Thank you so much for coming out for the interview. Congratulations once again, undefeated, and we will see you back in week 4.
All right.
All right, man. And for that, I believe we wrap up week 3 with Barb taking down Sam Houston. Thank you so much to all the parents that came out, the players, coaches, anyone, friends. We got the stands pretty packed tonight. That was really awesome, at least to start out with. Thank you, everyone on YouTube who's watching Silent Esports, and we will see y'all back for week 4. Ciao.